Hey friends, what's up? Ash here with Gents. Keep it quiet. We're going to be talking about fragrances that only fragrance insiders know are good. So if you're not a fragrance insider, you have to leave right now. Nah, I'm just messing with you. Feel free to stick around. Yeah, we're going to be talking about fragrances only fragrance insiders know are good. So these are fragrances that your average Joe probably doesn't really know about. I'm assuming that they probably don't. I didn't actually go to the local mall and poll people and ask if they knew these fragrances, but I'm pretty sure they don't. So I try to keep it a little bit skewed more toward the designer side of things in this list, just because going with niche fragrances is pretty easy, frankly. But I did sneak some of them in here just for fun. So let's jump into it. Let's check out these 10 fragrances that only fragrance insiders like myself and yourself know are awesome. We're kicking it off with the cologne. Yes, we are kicking it off cheap style, very cheap. It is good old HARAMAIN's DETOUR NOIR. This bad boy right here is a clone of Parfums de Marly Layton, and it's pretty much as good as you're ever gonna get to getting close to Layton for really cheap. You could go with something like Lalique White and Black. That will get you close to Layton as well, but that one's gonna cost you a lot more than this one. Now, it's not all roses with this fragrance because the presentation sucks. It's absolutely horrible. I hate it. It looks cheap. It feels cheap. The bottle's a weird kind of shape, kind of fits in the hand, sorta. It looks bad. So if you went into a store and they had this there for some reason and you didn't know what it was, you may just look at this and go, oh, that's pretty rough looking. I'm sure it will suck. I'm not gonna even bother with it. But once you get past the horrid presentation, the smell is actually really good. So it's spicy, it's sweet, it's attention grabbing, compliment pulling. It's actually got pretty decent performance as well. If you look up the note breakdown for this one on websites like Fragrantica, you'll think, oh, that's nothing to do with Layton. It's not even remotely close, but that's okay because that note breakdown is completely incorrect. This smells nothing like that, so don't worry. So while a lot of people out there, they may know about the Club de Nuit Intenses of the world, they may not know about DETOUR NOIR. And let's be real, Layton is for Parfums de Marly what Aventus is for Creed. That's the big daddy for that brand. Guys, I'll link each one of these in the description below in case you want to check them out. Also, codes, Gents10, twistedlily.com, 10% off the whole website. If you shop there, use that code. They got a lot of niche fragrances there. JomoShop.com, use the code GENTS8. $8 off any order over $110. Great fragrance discounter, and some of these fragrances are gonna be cheaper there than anywhere else. Next up, let's do a Ferragamo. And we're gonna do this one, a love of mine, Uomo. Uomo. Feels like just yesterday it came out with this really cool bottle that some people absolutely hated. And it was compared to L'Insoumis by Lalique because of the bottle similarities. And by similarities, I just mean the design on the side. Yeah, that's really it. But there was so much potential, so much hope for Ferragamo Uomo that it was gonna be a big line that blew up and made Ferragamo huge again in the fragrance world. And it really didn't. Now Ferragamo is concentrating on their new line, which is their Ferragamo line, because they've got great originality, creativity, just bursting. What should our new line be for Ferragamo? I know, Ferragamo. Genius. So yeah, they're concentrating more on that. I haven't seen a new Uomo in quite a while, which is a bummer. And the original one still kicks. This stuff smells awesome. It's sweet. It has a great tiramisu note to it, so it's got a coffee feel to it. We've also got cardamom in there and tonka as well. It's a big compliment puller, great for fall and winter time. And it used to be really cheap from discounters, not as much now, but it's still a really good scent that is overlooked still to this day. After that, let's go with an MIYAKE. So another designer brand that most average Joes are not really gonna be keen on. Maybe the original Low DC. They might be rocking that, but they're not gonna be wearing this one. NUIT DC Polaris. One of the drawbacks with the MIYAKE fragrances, and I've spoken about this a bunch, is they're hard to find at discounters sometimes. They sell out very quickly. They're not commonly in stock, so that can be a pain in the butt. This one has vanilla, leather, cypress, and Oud as some of the notes in the fragrance. It's dark, it's mysterious, it packs a punch, it really lasts a long time, it projects heavily, it smells very high quality, which is something that you come to expect from ISSEY MIYAKE with their cooler weather fragrances. Now, like I said, low DC, people may be still wearing that one, but that's not actually the type of fragrance that the house does best, at least in my opinion. They're more well known for their warm weather scents, but their cool weather ones are where they really shine, and Polaris is an absolutely stunning fragrance. After that, let's go to a niche one. Let's go to Amouage Journeyman. I also thought about going with Epic Man, but I went with Journey instead. Also could have done Memoir Man, but I've talked about that one more often because I like that one a lot. So this one has Sichuan pepper, tobacco, incense, and leather as some of the notes in the fragrance. With this being an Amouage, and with that note breakdown, you might think to yourself, man, that's gonna be really heavy, hard to wear, but it's really not. It's a nice, warm, spicy fragrance, but it has a little bit of freshness to it. I've also got a green cardamom in here as well. Really helps give it an extra bit of sweetness, just a little touch. As far as Amouage fragrances go, it's pretty easy to wear. It's versatile. It does pack a punch, so you do have a good amount of projection and longevity with this one. And I think the presentation is actually really nice as well. I mean, it's your standard Amouage presentation, but I really like the red coloration with the gold on the side. A lot to enjoy about this fragrance, but it kind of just gets lost in the shuffle somewhere. You know, it's not Reflection Man, it's not Interlude, it's not Interlude Black Iris, it's not Jubilation 25, it's not one of those fragrances that got heavily hyped from the house. And they do have a decent amount of releases, so that one, like I said, gets lost in the shuffle, but it smells killer. Now, another fairly cheap fragrance. This one is from LATTAFA, and it's RAGHBA Wood Intense. Now, the original RAGHBA, that one got talked about a bit more, but that was years ago. And the main reason that RAGHBA got talked about is because it was a good alternative to 24 from Scent Story, 24 Gold. And so RAGHBA at the time, again, years ago, was easy to find. 24 Gold wasn't. The price was skyrocketing. It was getting hyped heavily. And so RAGHBA kind of caught on a little bit, filled that niche. This one, RAGHBA Wood Intense, I think smells better than RAGHBA. I would take this over that one every day. And because this is similar to RAGHBA, that means it's also similar to 24 Gold by Scent Story. It has caramel, incense, vanilla, and woody notes. It does have an obvious Middle Eastern flair to it with a good amount of sweetness, but the additional woods in this fragrance make it more palatable to me, more high quality smelling as compared to the original RAGHBA, which can come across a little bit pea smelling to some people. Yeah, that doesn't sound very attractive. It smells like a light bit of pea, just a sprinkling. But the sweetness in the original RAGHBA, if you spray a whole lot of it on, to some people it's not very nice smelling. This one I think takes the edge off a little bit, dials down that sweetness, ramps up the woods, and is a better fragrance overall. Really, really nice stuff. I actually reviewed that on my channel because I was surprised at how good it was, so I decided to review it. Next up, a hype beast within the fragrance community, Ganymede. I finally splurged and pulled the trigger and bought this a little while back. It actually made my list of niche fragrances that I wanted to wear this season just because I like it so much. I slept on it. When it was getting hyped, I didn't bother. I didn't even sample the stuff. I waited until the hype was dead, and then I was like, well, let's go ahead and check it out. And then I went, that's really good. And here it is. Yeah, so it has suede leather, it has violet leaf, it has saffron, and a great minerality to it. Now, what's interesting is some people don't get that much minerality from the fragrance. They'll smell it and they'll go, oh yeah, I get the leather, I get the saffron, I get this and that, but not very minerally to me. And that's pretty crazy because I get a lot, even just smelling from the atomizer. I mean, obviously you get those florals, you get that suede, but it has this, minerally sparkle to it. That's really the best way to put it. It has extreme wearability, great versatility to the fragrance. So you can easily pull this off. You can wear it a lot of different situations, even during the summer, as long as you don't go crazy heavy with the trigger, it'll work. And this is a situation where, it's hyped in the community, for sure. But, and this is a bulbous but, your average person does not know what Ganymede is. And when I say that, I mean in all of its iterations. Ganymede the fragrance, don't know it. Ganymede the moon, don't know it. Ganymede the word, don't know it. So yeah, pretty safely, you could say that that one is something that only people who have an appreciation for fragrances are gonna know about. Now we've got Riflesso from Trussardi, which is quite inexpensive from discounters. Presentation, little bit fugly, seen better days. I mean, at least it's a different bottle. You know, it's not a stock bottle, but it's not beautiful. But beauty is in the eye of the beholder from Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. That's how that quote goes. Yeah. Apple, tonka, leather, lavender, citrus, some of the notes in the fragrance here, smells similar to La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent, even though the note breakdown is nothing like La Nuit de l'Homme from Yves Saint Laurent. This one has a few flankers as well, but I think that this one probably is the fragrance that would be best suited for most people, and yet it is completely overlooked. I've talked about this in the past as well, but I went to Macy's.com for some of my videos in the past, and I sorted by worst selling, or no, best selling, but then you go to the last page. So it's like reverse worst selling. But it was way, way, way down there, below some fragrances that you would never expect to be outselling this one, which was frankly kind of depressing for Trussardi. Like, I felt depressed for Trussardi. But yeah, Riflesso, similar to La Nuit de l'Homme, great compliment pulling fragrance, really solid for the price at discounters. Nobody cares about it. Now this one, if you're a fan of the brand, you probably know about it, but this is still one of those like hidden gems for us fragrance people, us weird fragrance people. It's Eau de Beau from L'Occitane. Price is not bad for this fragrance, even at full retail. They did shrinky dink the bottle, so don't really appreciate that. It used to be 100 mils, now I think it's 75. So you gotta love that. Pay the same price, get less product. Yeah, oh wait, that sucks. Cypress, vanilla, incense, and cardamom, some of the notes in this fragrance. And it is one of my favorite cypress forward scents on the market, period. The bit of smokiness that is in there is absolutely killer. It's just the right amount. It's not overdone, and it melds together with the vanilla. So it gives the vanilla a little bit of a darker feel. It doesn't come across too syrupy sweet or anything like that. Like I said, if you know L'Occitane, then you probably know this fragrance. But if you're not really into scents, you don't really know L'Occitane or anything like that. Maybe you don't have one in your local mall. I don't, but I've seen them at other people's malls who have better malls than me. If you haven't gone in there and sampled their wares, then maybe you don't know about this one, but you should, because it is top notch. It's a fragrance that's been talked about for years and will continue to be talked about for years unless the brand stupidly discontinues it. Don't do that. Back to niche Montale. Honey Oud, my favorite Montale fragrance. So most of the time when I talk Montale, it ends up being this one. Sorry about that. They have so many oud fragrances though that they start to run together. I know I'm not the only one. Montale keeps coming out with fragrances. They keep pumping them out, and it seems like at least half of them have oud in the name. And at some point, it's hard to tell the difference because you look at the note breakdowns for these freaking Montale oud fragrances and they all look the same. It's like, oh, rose, check. Saffron, check. Oud, check. Now let's go ahead and just sprinkle in a couple other random notes, which oftentimes they share with other fragrances from the house, and it starts to run together. Honey Oud, thankfully though, does stand out. Montale is known for having a little bit of a screechy oud. Like a lot of their oud fragrances, you can pick out that, oh, that's a Montale oud just from smelling it. It's a very particular oud scent profile that Montale has. Now, not all of their oud fragrances have them, but a lot of them do. So if you start to smell a lot of Montales, you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's love it or hate it. Some people really dig it and they will collect the heck out of those Montales like they're Pokemon cards, and then other people just hate them. I'm kind of in the middle. Some I like, some I don't. Honey Oud, I think, is really nice because that screechiness is turned down a little bit. It's not on 11 with this one, thankfully. And the honey adds this nice sweetness. And on top of that honeyed sweetness, which you would expect, it's called honey AOUD. There's also amber in here. There's vanilla, there's cinnamon. So additional warmth, additional sweetness, spiciness, and all of that melds together with the oud and kind of helps lift it up here. So instead of just coming across like nails on a chalkboard, it comes across like a very nice, sweet yet dark woody scent. And of course, with it being a Montale oud fragrance, the performance is out of this world. So I love that one. Really, really good stuff. Last, but certainly not least, Montblanc Starwalker. I have loved this fragrance for a long time, and I know a lot of people in the fragrance world do. You know, they'll talk about this as being a great nighttime fragrance. They'll even wear it to bed because it has this kind of relaxing nature to it, kind of a calming feel. And a lot of that is due to the bamboo note that's in here. It's green, fresh, a little bit watery almost. And you have citrus, a very smooth, soft sandalwood, and clean musk in the base. And it's just such an easygoing fragrance. So easy to wear. Nobody's gonna dislike this. It doesn't project or perform monstrously, but it's not that type of fragrance, so I don't expect it to. And I think that it's actually quite unique as far as what Montblanc has done fragrance-wise. Now, Montblanc fragrances are completely fine, don't get me wrong, but you've got Legend out there that smells like Fierce, you have Explorer that smells like Aventus, you got Legend Spirit that smells like Invictus Aqua, so you got a lot of Montblanc fragrances that are kind of copying other people's playbooks a little bit. Whereas this one is just doing its own thing, just chilling, just relaxing out there. And I love it for it. So Starwalker, definitely overlooked by the masses. There we go, guys. 10 fragrances that only us insiders know are good. Don't tell anybody. Don't be going out there telling everybody to try Ganymede or Eau de Beau. Keep that to yourself, man. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out of here. Let me know in the comments some of the fragrances that you think are like insider only scents that your average Joe doesn't know about. Can be designer, indie, niche, whatever. Although for this particular type of thing, indie and niche is easy mode because most people don't know about those. All right, I'm out of here. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.